Nurdes Gomez, pleasure. Thank you all for taking the time to join. This is going to be a highly interactive session. So we're Wrecking to Build. We played Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus. And let's just jump in. What drew you to this session? So you can add it to the chat and or you can unmute yourself.
I'm going to unmute myself even though my picture is not showing. This is Ann Solomons. Because I work a lot in HR, my focus is more on the training and development as well as coaching. And mostly I'm working with HR teams, so I knew I would benefit from this session and looking at your bio as well.
Thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to jump in or we're keep going? Let's roll with it, right? So as with I was previously group HR manager for a luxury safari lodge group for a decade and now transitioned to coach from January. Awesome. So as we go through, we're going to wreck the past by letting go of some limiting HR beliefs. What I tried to do, because this isn't like a formal group coaching, right? It's a mix between group work, but also some educational aspects. We want to explore the present using ICF coaching competencies. The International Coaching Federation is by far the gold standard in coaching. So really you're with the right people at the right place. Build the future by exploring what is possible and transform through application and accountability. You'll hear some of my keywords at key times of HR, so hopefully you enjoy as we jump in. So what is coaching? What comes to your mind when you think of coaching? Feel free to add to the chat or unmute.
Not necessarily like telling someone what or how to do something, but like providing them like with guidance and maybe like exploring different tools with them.
Absolutely, giving them the space, right? A lot of times we're running from meeting to meeting and life to life, and all of a sudden we're looking, and it's May 14th, people. Guiding people to discover, yes. Holding the space for others to overcome challenges. Love that, absolutely. Using those powerful questions to really help people. The ICF shares, it's really thought-provoking, and it's a collaborative process. We want to be able to allow individuals to get untapped sources of imagination, productivity, and leadership. And that's so thinking partner for sure, Katia, absolutely. So what are HR beliefs that are holding us back? Let them out, guys, we're wrecking it. What are some HR beliefs?
That's a tough one.
Admin only. Oh, there's so many, Gaston. Come on. We're policy holders, we're paper pushers,
we
that
are
we
the
can solve
police.
everyone's problem.
Yeah, we're the police.
The police.
We're no fun. We're not human.
Yeah, we are the HR. The HR. What is the HR? I always tell, who is HR? Tell me a name.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Actually, that's a great point, Gaston. There's only two people in my HR team, and I'm like, it's either Ken or me. Like, who's this HR you talk to? Like, come on. People are nice, important as money. That's huge. We're the party planners. Oh, I wish I could party plan more. But yeah, this is so unnecessary. So one of the things I do, and as you get to know me, I work a lot with artificial intelligence, and I am very candid when I use it because we always want to share, right? So I utilize Gamma. If you've never tried it, try it. It creates amazing PowerPoint presentations, and it's really, really cool. But when I put into Gamma, I'm like, so if you create an HR presentation, what would you say? And this is what our AI talked about us. Identify outdated practices. So making sure that we're not doing things just to do them, getting rid of those legacy thinking and dismantling barriers. And sometimes we create the barriers, right? So how are we gonna be able to push past this? And when you think of coaching, it's really finding out where point A is, which is where you are right now, to where point B is. So how do we get there? Well, what are we most ready to wreck?
Ooh, Tough
I
question
know.
too. Everything,
Powerful
everything.
questions.
Powerful question. Powerful coaching question. Uh, yeah.
And you can hold it in your heart, right? Because some of us, that might be a very sensitive question, like what are we most ready to wreck? And that's why I wanted to interject these questions, because when you're in a true coaching one-on-one, that's what we ask you. We're trying to push past those barriers so that we can move forward and we can find out what's possible, right? So some of them, just in case, as you think about it, strategic evolution, right? And Gamma also helped with this one, which is basically we need to move past all those traditional admin work. And I know some of you said that. The stigma of the value HR provides any organization. Absolutely. We provide a lot of support. Maybe we're willing to wreck a lot of things, but what if that includes us? You know, that's a great point too, which is basically sometimes you have to change the limiting beliefs that we have within ourselves to be able to move forward, to be able to find out what's possible, right? We have to do those paradigm shifts, getting rid of those old models and really thinking to ourselves, what can we do? How can we revamp ourselves? Last year, I received my executive coaching, but I've been wanting to do that for years. What held me back all this time? And then I did include in the PowerPoint an actual reference, which I guess we can also send the code, but it's basically 86% of companies report successfully recouping their investment in coaching with an average return on investment of 600%. That's incredible. So it's like, how can we bring coaching to organizations, whether within our own capacities as HR professionals and or working with coaching partnerships? So let's do a long one. How has holding on to these patterns impacted our effectiveness, or, because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, our well-being as people and as HR leaders?
Hmm. Yeah. I can tell my experience. I think sometimes it's like you want to change a lot of things and uh, it's complicated, or what myself telling that it's complicated, right? We feel that it's complicated, so many things to change, and I think that in order to be fair, HR teams, HR professionals are doing already so many things, so many things. You have to be in the little details, you have to be in the everyday action, and sometimes it seems like overwhelming, perhaps.
Yeah. And you hit barriers, because like we were saying, there are times that, and Warren said beautifully, losing relevance to the company. There's times that you just have to break those barriers or find ways to share. I am more than this box, and I can do so much more for our company. But also, and one of the things that we say a lot in HR is HR takes care of everyone else, but not ourselves. And one thing I hope as we focus on transformation is you take some time, each and every one of you, to invest in your own well-being, including your development. That impacts the mental health of the person losing their sense of belonging. Absolutely. We need to build communities of support. And I have to say, since I've started with ICF South Florida, they are such a wonderful community of people. There's other communities as well, that you can get involved in, right? There's HR Miami, HR ABC, there's HR Amplified. You can create your own cohort. I can be part of your cohort, please, But sometimes you need to have a space that you can just be you and talk to people that understand, right? But definitely, we have to take care of ourselves. And that's part of transformation. You can't fill anyone else's bucket or even your own if you have nothing to give. So when we're reflecting on the present, which is where we're transitioning into, There's many different ways we can do so. We can assess ourselves. I personally love the Wheel of Life. If you've never done it, take some time. You can Google it. It's usually a free little thing that you can do. But to really be honest with yourself and see where are you at in different aspects. HR is a lonely place. Often peers, I'll say, of HR do not relate to your challenges. Absolutely. That's why HR needs to band together. We got to be like, okay, let's, I do a lot of mentoring. I'm part of the SHRM Foundation's mentor programs, and it's the best to be able to just connect with people that understand what you're going through and be able to have camaraderie. Team discovery, which that you could do with others, i.e. coaches, with team members, if you are not in HR of one. But asking yourself the questions, right? The deep questions of, what is my purpose? Why am I doing this job every day? What thrills me? What engages me? Why, and go towards that. Find ways to fill it. I always follow the Pareto principle, 80-20. 20% of HR can suck, but if the 80% doesn't feel good, you're not in the right role. So always taking that time. And active listening, being attentive to yourself, creating that psychological safety, creating those opportunities to be able to do so. So let's jump in, and we're reflecting on the present because you came because we want to wreck some HR beliefs, but also internal beliefs, because we are whole people. I love when people are like, oh, it's work-life balance. I'm like, guys, it's work-life harmony. Everything's interconnected. So as we continue forward, how can coaching support you and your team? What do y'all think?
Let's see if there's something on the chat.
Yeah, I have it up. Or maybe how has coaching supported you if you've ever done coaching? Perhaps you had a great boss that would give you that space.
I have different experiences with coaching, and so not being involved, but sometimes I believe that one of the companies I work for use coaching to support people that have performance issues. So it was strange, and now looking at that in retrospective, it was I wonder how coachable that person might have been, right? In terms of they were imposed a coach. So that was kind of one of those beliefs that maybe we can tackle. Yes, coaching can help in those situations, assuming that the person is coachable and wants to improve their performance, but it can be supportive for everything else, right? And another experience that I had, this was as a coachee. It was part of a training that includes coaches, and you have groups, and you work with these coaches in some sort of a group coaching formats, and then you have access to one-on-one coaching. And I think that one in particular was super powerful because it built you can tell the different pieces connecting.
And Gaston, you brought up a great term that we haven't talked about yet, coachability. You can't force people to be coached. And if you're not ready, no amount of incredible, powerful questions and coaching will be able to get you there. I have multiple, so ICF South Florida has We Evolution, they have a United Way partnership, and they have Coast to Coast. And I won't say who because we don't share anything like that because it's confidential. But one of my coachees, she literally went on ChatGPT and created her own coaching plan for our three sessions with everything she wanted to go through. And I was so impressed. Her coachability was at 110. I was like, and she's gotten so much from our sessions. She told me one of the hours that she's like, I've learned more from you in the last hour than I have in the last 3 months. And I'm like, Which, and I'm not tooting my horn, I'm saying if you have structure, you can like just go miles, right? And I have, Warren shared, I have mentored others and have coached as the executive. It gives you an outlet to share concerns and gain a different perspective of yourself or the situation within a safe, non-judgmental space, of course. Katie shared, my coach helped me reflect on how I should start and continue transitioning in my career. It also enabled me to help others develop abilities on how they could adjust on their situation. That's a great point. So the coaching mindset, which we're going to talk about on Friday's session, hope you can attend, talks about curiosity. You know, it's really good to have a coaching mindset when you're doing a investigation for employee relations, because sometimes we come with our preconceived notions. So that's another way. But also not just being the answer giver, right? The worst bosses, in my humble opinion, are the ones that you go with a problem and they give you the solution. No. Allow people to have critical thinking skills and to give their own ideas, and then you talk about it. That's called situational learning, right? Any other pieces on how coaching has supported you? Team coaching is very powerful. Oh my goodness, Katia. When I was at Baptist Health, that was one of the things that we invested a lot of time in, and especially with employee engagement, building actual relationships across, being able to have a common purpose. That's huge, right? Being able to build that camaraderie, that communication.
Especially Nurdes in companies with organizations. I'm a systemic team coach as well. So working with teams that have conflicts or are not aligned it's really powerful. And I see that in organizations.
And you brought up a great point too, which is basically when you bring an outside person, sometimes that allows people to share more than when it's their boss basically leading it. So it helps.
I was just going to add that I was working with an organization coaching some of their leaders, and the senior leaders called me. They were having conflict, and we were able to do a number of sessions and return their relationship back to where it was, which was in a really good place. So very much valued for conflict resolution.
Absolutely. No, conflict resolution is a huge one because there will always be conflict. One of my HR jokes is I love the troublemakers because they care enough to make a ruckus. It's true. It's like when they become apathetic, then you're just like, ooh. So I threw up just, the basics of the core competencies. So as I shared, ICF is the gold standard for coaching, and this is what we really do. And, even if one takeaway you have from today is just incorporating one of these aspects just a little bit into your day, because it's all progress. Demonstrates ethical practice. Guys, don't pick that one. I know you have it. Like, come on, we're HR. But embodies a coaching mindset, right? Like we were talking about, being curious, being open, asking those questions, being in the moment is huge, right? Establishing and maintaining agreements. There are times that people will come to us and you don't have to share that confidentiality. But we know some HR people have destroyed trust and safety by sharing those things. So we have to emulate the behaviors we want to show. Or as Mahatma Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world. Also, how do you cultivate trust and safety? One thing I do as an HR professional is I tell them straight up, if it's illegal, unethical, or immoral, it's not confidential. But I also give people the space to say, do you want to vent? Do you want advice? Or do you want to explore different solutions that you come up with? And it's very empowering for people to do that. And it's worked very well. But I tell them, If you vent and then you come to me 2 days later and say I didn't do anything, I'm gonna call you. So it's a two-way street. Maintaining presence is really huge. We're in a completely digital, interrupted life, right? So how we show up for each other is so essential, and what we remember for one another. Listening actively goes without saying, but again, how do we listen for the things that people don't say? And I was in a really good coaching training for ICW this week, and they actually said, why is the client or the coachee sharing this information with me? What is the background story of why they're using these words, this experience? And that was really powerful for me, because I'm like, I never really question the intentions of someone as they're speaking, but it's a real thing, right? Evoke awareness. One of my favorite coaching tools is to say, hey, I saw a shift in your body language. Can you talk to me more about that? Don't assume what it is, right? That's part of coaching. You don't say, oh, you look excited, tell me more. No. I see a shift, right? And then facilitates client growth, always moving forward, even if it's small steps. And one thing I also love is celebrating that growth, because a lot of times we're moving and we don't just stop and reflect. I had a coaching meeting yesterday, and I at the end, I'm like, so how do you feel? We're halfway through our series. And she's like, well, it's been a lot. We've done a lot. And I'm like, you've done so much. Would you like to talk about it? And she's like, yeah. She starts listing everything, and then her eyes just bug out, and she's like, I didn't realize I had accomplished so much. And it's because we don't give ourselves the space to reflect on that. So how can you build using the competencies? How can you build using the competencies? And I'll cheat a little bit. Oh, I'll put it up again.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I know. It's like I don't have them all memorized. Well, I do have them memorized, but
Yeah,
yeah.
for the exam, at least. Um,
You know what's going in my mind, if I may?
Of course.
Yeah.
In wearing both hats. In yesterday when I was in Gaston's session, and he asked about the superpowers, and I was trying to think in the years I was in corporate in HR, and I was trying to think, why did people come to me? And I thought they trusted me. They really trusted me. And since I have a psychology background and ethics is very critical, I thought, okay, I have to be ethical with the company, but I have to be ethical with the person that trusts me. So there was like a thin line there of saying, what is it if they come and tell me something that they shouldn't be doing? No, so I think that and that was really like tough. And how you don't break the trust they have in you. No, so that was, and also listening actively in terms of listening without judgment, but listening with curiosity.
Beautifully said. But part of it too, and I guess this is like a Debbie Downer concept though, but if they come to you knowing that they did something wrong and seeking like absolution or your advice, it's
Yeah.
because they're avoiding responsibility. And sometimes we have to evoke awareness, right? And say,
Yeah.
no, we're
Yeah.
not, you can't behave this way.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget one of my favorite directors of respiratory. He would actually, when he had corrective action meetings, be able to coach the person into taking responsibility for that action, and they would apologize to him. And I had witnessed it, like, because sometimes HR had to attend the meetings, and it was so powerful. And I'm like, when I grow up, I want to be like you. I like the 3 options for the objective of the discussion, which you mentioned, that allows me to respond accordingly. Perfect. Vent advice, explore, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah,
So,
I
and
think
then,
that, sorry,
uh-huh.
but if I may,
Yeah.
I think that you mentioned something like very interesting, right? And when you see models like, for instance, the situational leadership, one of the roles or the hats is a coach, right? But doesn't mean necessarily that you have to be a coach, an actual coach, and abide by these principles if you are ICF or if you are MCC, yeah, whatever. Obviously you have, I think Katya was mentioning the professional ethics that each of us has as HR professionals, right? So that's kind of obviously the guiding light. And sometimes that means it's a potential conflict of interest and in the sense of what you're expected to do, what are you paid for by the company, and what you're expected to do, right? So it's clearly understandable. So probably you will not be able in some cases to be an actual coach, like open discussions and talk about everything that you like, uh, because you are there for a reason, right? And the people is there for the reason. You are both in an organization, you are both to expected to deliver a certain task. And of course, we have life all around us. You said like the harmony, everything happening around us. And that impacts what we do in the organization, can impact it positively, negatively, or in one whichever way. Uh, and it's tough, but having like this coaching mindset and saying, okay, how, what you were saying, right? How I can, or what Kathy was mentioning too, how I can create a safe space, how as safe as I can possibly create it, right? How I can establish agreements, like you said. Are you going to bend? You need venting, you need advice, you need exploration. So those type of things are kind of coach traits that we can incorporate in our life without being necessarily a coach, and certainly will foster an open communication. And I think coaching is about, for me, right? It's about having maturity, being, and especially being honest and vulnerable with yourself. So if you can do that, you certainly will grow and will have more tools to communicate and relate with others.
Beautifully said. And, it's how we show up every day, right? Because we can have difficult conversations with people and be very mean, or we can have difficult conversations with people and come, like you said, with that coaching mindset, trying to build. Katie shared coming from a different country with a different culture. I'm thinking of embodying a multicultural mindset to be able to be more relevant to others. That's beautiful as well. Being, and coaching is that, right? Meeting people where they are, not where we expect them to be. Beautiful. So some easy ones, because of course I had to give you some tools, right? And Gamma helped out. Ethical practice, we already got that. Active listening, practicing that again, what's said and what's not said, why things happen, building that psychological safety for people, and using powerful questions. Snag some of these questions. If you're having a conversation with a leader and they're sharing some feedback with you, what would success look like at the end of this conversation? Their eyes are gonna bug out and they're gonna be like, success? Yes, because you talking to HR is successful. So, and one of our favorite coaching questions is what else, or tell me more. So just a couple of little teasers. So we wrecked the past. We're talking about the present. What is your HR vision for transformation?
You mean transformations for ourselves?
Whichever compels you, Gaston. That's a coaching thing too. We don't lead you, you lead yourself.
Yeah, I think I mentioned a few of these things yesterday, which is about how we can reframe how we see ourselves and how we would like to see ourselves as HR professionals and the impact that we bring to the organizations, right? So do we want to be the policies police, or do we want the builders of a culture, the architects of a culture? So eventually we are reframing and changing the perspective. That's kind of how I feel the starting point can be, right? So starting with ourselves and taking it from there, right? Creating this kind of a ripple effect.
Beautiful. Your HR vision might be a personal thing for you, so for others. So if you don't feel comfortable sharing, that's fine, but write it down for yourself. Really take steps towards where you want to go and what you want to do. What's the saying? Fail to plan, plan to fail. If you're just coasting through your role and your life and everything, and you're not working towards that continuous improvement, you're only hurting yourself. So it's really, there's so much life out there in this world to be able to show up. So, because we are, coaches, I did want to give some coaching questions. Oh, Warren shared, create a stronger self-awareness of others to understand themselves better, be more confident, and embrace the continuous learning and development they have the potential for. Confidence is a huge thing. A lot of us have that imposter syndrome, that fear, I'll be honest, this morning my butterflies were happening in my belly and I was like, ooh, I hope everything goes good today. But, it's normal. A good book and quick read to get in the coaching mindset. Oh, The Coaching Habit. Love that book. And it's on Libby, people. So if you know about Libby. But as you're building the future, take some time to think about, first, what assumptions are you making, right? One of my jokes that sometimes I say to people, especially when they feel really stuck, is you could literally quit your job, sell all your stuff, and move to like the Bahamas, and no one could stop you. We only have preconceived notions in our mind of what we have to do, but you can do anything. Like, you're not stuck at your job, you're not stuck in your house, you're not stuck in your country or world, it's your life. So thinking about those assumptions or those limiting beliefs and being like, I'd never leave Miami though, I love this place. So what options have you considered so far? I do a lot of AI work. ChatGPT is your friend. So you can also say, as an HR professional with XYZ experiences, what are some opportunities for me to learn and grow in my career? And it doesn't have to be like a master's program. It could be certifications. It could be, you can become an ICF certified coach. You can do all kinds of things. Who can best support you? Who are your tribe, your people? You've met a lot of us today. I hope all of us connect on LinkedIn. Don't be shy. Don't just follow me. Some people just follow me. I'm like, connect and message me. What would success look like for you? And as we all know, we have different seasons in our life. What success looked like when I was young and in my 20s and working way too many hours is definitely not what success looks like for me now, where I'm more focused on helping people. Oh yeah, share your LinkedIn profiles, perfect. And what will success look like in the next series, And honestly, success could be taking steps back to be more present in your life. Success can also be removing people from your life that aren't bringing you meaning and joy. Success can also be bringing in new people. Like I was telling Gaston, my mom and I are doing Zumba classes at LA Fitness now, and it's her favorite. So, trying new things. And she said, oh, I'm too old for that. I'm like, you're never too old for anything. What's truly important to you about this? I love Zumba. Oh, and there you go. We could do a virtual ICF Zumba class. Anyway, okay. But what makes this important to you when you're building your future? So these are all questions you can consider either individually, and what is one step forward that you can take right now? So as we go through, and of course, we would never, as coaches, like bombard you like this on just question, question, question. It usually gives you more space. So just so you know, coaching is definitely not a hand grenade of questions. But I will ask you, what is one action that you can take today? What is one action you can take today? Because you gotta do something. We attend meetings all day and then we forget about them within 2 or 3 days, right? But if you take concerted action and you're purposeful in your decision making, I'll give you a cheat sheet. Focus on one belief that you're wrecking. You thought about a lot of stuff today. You were like, oh, yes, Nurdes, of course, we need to wreck these beliefs, and maybe some personal beliefs that you're like, I'm not that person. I'm growing, I'm evolving, I'm moving forward, I'm gonna do something different. Or maybe, and this is something we didn't talk about, go back to something that used to bring you joy that you lost touch with. Or you can join the ICF South Florida event this Saturday at Coconut Grove. Ooh, which event is that, Gaston?
There's a Zumba event 8:30.
8:30. Okay.
It's early
We'll do
for a
my-
Saturday.
That's a good plug. You can also think about one competency you will explore and work on. We dug deep into those, make them your own. Be true to yourself, right? And one action that you will take today to start building. Too far for that early, and I agree. And I do Zumba with my mom Saturday mornings. Oh, I love this. We have to prioritize what we determine will make an impact in our personal and career lives and focus on making that priority happen. Life gets busy, so prioritizing is key. Oh, I can't agree more, Anna. That's huge, right? There's a concept that's basically we fill the space that we're allowed, right? Whether it's good or bad. So take that time to really do so. And then this is my information. So because I wasn't going to take the whole time and hopefully open it up to questions, but please connect with me on LinkedIn. So I am a director of people operations at eMed and an internal coach, but I opened up my LLC, which is Grow Bravely, so I'm also an external coach. And I did something crazy. We'll see if it works or not. But I created a coaching series, which is building resilience through AI and coaching. It's going to be May 22nd, May 29th, and June 5th. 3 Thursdays, an hour long, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. It's on my website if you're interested. You can either sign up for one session, or you can sign up for the series and get a free 1-hour debrief coaching session with me. Thank you, Gaston. So thank you all so much. We'll see. Thank you, Anna. Absolutely. So any questions? I'll stop sharing. I know there's a QR code that Gaston will be sharing with you as well. So please, we will read the feedback and appreciate it. But thank you all for contributing. You bring the value in here.
Thank you, Nurdes.
Thank you, Nurdes.
Thank you.
It was great, very inspiring. I'm just sharing with you guys the chat, the link in the chat. That's awesome. If you want to learn more about this HR series, this is specifically dedicated for professionals. We are going to continue. We have tomorrow horas. We have on Friday, Katia, Nurdes, and myself. We're going to kind of regroup and look back through the week and into the future too. And we are going to be sharing some details about a pilot that we want to run for HR professionals here with volunteers of ICF South Florida. So might be interesting to go. And the idea is to start this conversation and continue this conversation to learn how we can support the people that support their organizations, right? So that's the first thing. Also, on top of that, we have other series. We have the Leadership Plus Coaching series, which is dedicated to business leaders, business professionals, and this is again, an opportunity to explore how coaching can help organizations and teams. We have tapped on some of those today. And again, this comes with a gift at the end of the week, which is basically some information about a program that we have, which is called Step Into Coaching, that we offer
Nice.
to companies, to for-profit companies. So if you're interested in sharing, learning more about that, that's probably that's good thing to know. And we have of course a number of events that talk about coaching topics that are in our calendar. And the Zumba class, if you want to join us, 8:30 at Golden Grove. There's more details in our website. So thank you, Nurdes, for your presentation. Thank you for being this inspiration, this spark of joy. And I think that if you want, we can thank everyone too for attending, for
Yes.
being so interactive, and we can say goodbye with music. What do you say?
Absolutely. Thank you all so much, and thank you for your lovely words. I'm so happy you enjoyed, and we will see if we can do Wrecking Ball again. Wreck those limiting beliefs.
Yeah, let's wreck them all. We can do a version, actually. We have to change the lyrics and we can do a version. What do you say? Let's go to a karaoke and do it.
Karaoke. All right, well, thank you all so much. I think we can stop the recording too.
Yeah.